Okay, this is the second video segment for solution to homework 16. 32 and 34 are so easy that I'm going to do it right here. It says, okay, you've got this expression using double angle or half angle formula simplified. Now, let me remind you that we had a formula which said cosine of 2x is equal to cosine squared x minus sine squared x. When you look at this and compare it to what I have there, so the answer to that is cosine of 2 times theta over 2, which is cosine of theta. That's it. Okay. When you look at this guy, we had a formula which says sine of 2x is equal to 2 sine x cosine of x. That's so when you compare these two, you can see that your your x here, your x is actually theta over 2. Theta over 2. That means the answer to this is sine of 2 times theta over 2, which is sine of theta. So that takes care of 32a and b. Let me clean these up. I don't need these anymore. We're going to go to 34a. Okay, 34a. Okay, 34a. Now we had a formula which says sine squared x equal to 1 minus cosine of 2x divided by 2. Okay, or simply sine of x equal to square root of, well, I mean, look, if this is, if you look at this, you take the square root of it, you get plus or minus true. Let me write it. 1 minus cosine of 2x over 2. So, but when you compare this, your x, you compare this, your x is 15 degrees. Just look. 1 minus cosine of 2x, 1 minus cosine of 30. So x is 15 degrees. So sine of 15 degrees equal to plus or minus square root of 1 minus cosine of 30 degrees over 2. However, sine of 15 degrees is a positive number because 15 degrees is in the first quadrant, therefore the sign is positive. You don't want that. So the answer to that piece, okay, the answer to that piece is sine of 15. But when you look at this, because you don't know, you really don't know what the angle theta is, if you use the same argument, you're going to have sine of 4 theta equal to plus or minus square root of 1 minus cos 8 theta over 2. Okay, therefore that expression here is, when you compare these two, it's going to be plus or minus sine of 4 theta. That depends on the value of theta. If 4 theta is in the first quadrant, for example, uh, yeah. The only thing is that actually this is correct. However, look, maybe I should rephrase what I said here. This expression, square root of something, is always positive. Square root is always positive. Therefore, when I write this, I really should not be taking the negative sign anyway. Okay, there. So the answer to B is simply sine of 4 theta. As simple as that. Okay, and under the assumption that 4 theta will give you a sign that is positive. So yeah, so this is sine of 4 theta. However, if theta is in the is a certain value, okay, this may have to be plus or minus. It has to be minus. So if you want to be absolutely right, the best way of saying it is like this. The answer to this, 1 minus cos 8 theta over 2, is absolute value of sine of 4 theta. Because this is positive, that is always positive, irrespective of what theta is. I didn't need the absolute value here because the absolute value of sine of 15 is in fact positive. So that takes care of 32 and 34. So these other ones, I'm going to do it on a separate page. So number 53. Okay, so let me erase this. Number 53. Okay, it says if we find, find sine of 2 theta if sine of theta is 1 over 7 and theta is in quadrant 2. Theta is in quadrant 2. Okay, well, first of all, sine of 2 theta, the thing that we want is 2 sine theta cos theta. So there is no problem with that guy. That guy is 1 over 7 because it's given to us. However, if theta is in quadrant 2, the cosine is a negative value. So when I calculate the value of cosine, make sure you pick the negative value. So cosine of theta, remember, is plus or minus square root of 1 minus sine squared theta. But you have to pick the negative value. Theta in quadrant 2, that means it's going to be root of 1, a negative root of 1 minus sine squared theta. Let's plug it in. Minus square root of 1 minus 1 over 7 squared, and this is minus root of 48 over 7. So sine of 2 theta, the thing that I was asked to find, is equal to 2 times 1 over 7 times minus root of 48 over 7. You can leave it like this, but in all likelihood, the answer in the book, they don't write it as root of 48. They probably write it as 16. No, what is that? You can take this thing root of 48. Remember, it is 16 times 3, right? So it's 4 root 3. Probably in the book, they have 4 root 3 instead of this guy. All right, that takes care of this problem. Let's move on to number 76. Number 76. It says prove that 2 tan x over 1 plus tan x squared is equal to sine of 2x. Equal to sine of 2x. Okay, that's what it says. So maybe the best way of doing these problems is to work simultaneously on both sides. So this is going to be 2 sine x over cosine x divided by 1 plus sine squared x over cos squared x. And this is 2 sine x cos x, right? Okay, so let's move on. Let's play with this guy. Let me write it down here. 2 sine x over cosine x. These are basic algebra operations you should be able to do, taking common denominator of this, divided by cosine squared x. Okay, and this is 2, this guy is 1, right? 2 sine x over cos x divided by 1 over cos squared x. Now notice that from arithmetic, we know this is 2 sine x over cos x times the reciprocal of the denominator, and this is 2 sine x cos x. Isn't this what you wanted to show here? This? You wanted to show it's equal to that? So that takes care of this problem. Number 76, we did it. Let me do number 77. It says show that or prove that sine of 4x over sine of x is equal to 4 cos x cos 2x. So once again, let us work on these. Well, let me start with the left-hand side. I may have to come and play with the right-hand side to put it in that form. So let's see now. This is going to be 2 sine 2x cos 2x divided by sine x, right? Good. And this thing is itself 2 sine x cos x, and of course times cos 2x divided by sine x. Now notice that this cancels that, and you have 4 cos x cos 2x, which is your right hand side. There we are. Okay, so the next few problems are related to the product of a sum and later sum of product. So if you look at number 55, it says write the product as a sum, sine of 2x, cosine of 3x. And I want to remind you that we had a whole bunch of formulas that you have at your disposal. When you have, for example, if you look at the formula for something like that, sine of u cosine of v, okay? Look it up in your table. It's going to be 1/2 of sine of u plus v plus sine of u minus v. So this is the formula that I'm going to be using. This is my u, this is my v, so that is equal to 1/2 sine of the u plus v, so 2x plus 3x, plus sine of 2x minus 3x. Minus 3x. Okay, clean it up. 1/2 sine of 5x plus sine of minus x. This is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you looked at the book, and if they did have an answer, they would write it like that, minus sine x. Because remember, sine x is an odd function. If there is a minus sign here, you can bring it out and put it right in the front. Okay, let's do the next one. 56. Number 56. Sine x, sine 5x. And I want to remind you that if you look in your table and you look for something like that, you're going to come across the following formula. Sine of u times sine of v equal to 1/2. Just look it up in your table. You're going to have cosine of u minus v minus cosine of u plus v. So in this particular problem, this is my u, this is my v, so this is equal to 1/2 cosine of u minus v, x minus 5x, minus cosine of x plus 5x. So if you clean this up, you have cosine of minus 4x minus cosine of 6x. But if you look at the answer in the book, I don't know whether they have it or not, but cosine is an even function. This minus sign doesn't do anything. So this is going to be 1/2 cosine of 4x minus cosine of 6x. So probably the answer in the book looks like that. Let's do the next one, which is number 57. 57. And we have cosine of x, sine of 4x. And once again, if you look in the formulas that I've provided to you in the book, you look for something that looks like that. It's cosine of u, sine of v, right? And it's going to be 1/2 sine of u plus v minus sine of u minus v. It looks something like this. Okay. Okay, so this is here, there is my u and there is the v. And if I use that formula, replicate that, it's going to be sine of x plus 4x minus sine of x minus 4x. Or 1/2 sine of 5x minus sine of minus 3x. But sine is an odd function, so the answer in the book will probably look something like this. Sine of 5x plus sine of 3x. It looks something like that. Okay? Let me see for a second. No. Okay, so let's do, this was, which one was this? This was number, I think it was number 58, was it not? This was 57. Let's go and do number 58. I want to finish this box and then we move on to another video. Okay, so number 58. Number 58, and it looks like this. Cosine of 5x, cosine of 3x. And if you look in your table, the thing that looks like that is going to be cosine of u, cosine of v equal to 1/2. Okay, 1/2 of cosine of u plus v plus cosine of u minus v. So there is a u and there is the v, and this is going to be 1/2 of cosine of 5x plus 3x plus cosine of 5x minus 3x. Clean up. 1/2 cosine of 8x plus cosine of 2x. And there's nothing else you can do, just leave it the way it is. Okay? Let's do the next two. Let's see now, number 59. It looks like that. 3 cosine of 4x cosine of 7x. Now don't let this 3 bother you. Just look at your formulas for something like that. Cosine of u, cosine of v. We're going to take that 3 into account in a minute. Okay. Now the one that we have that looks like that, if you look it up, we just did one like it. It's going to be cosine of u plus v. Okay. Plus cosine of u minus v, plus cosine of u minus v. So there is your u, and there is the v. So 1/2 times cosine of 4x plus 7x plus cosine of 4x minus 7x. If we do a cleanup, 3 times 1/2 is 3/2. Cosine of 11x plus cosine of minus 3x. However, remember cosine is an even function, so I can write this thing as cosine of 3x. Cosine of minus 3x is cosine of 3x because cosine is an even function. The last problem in this group, remember we took 3 into account, but we didn't let it confuse us. We just look at for this form. Okay. What's the last one? Number 60. It's the same kind of a thing. It says 11 sine of x over 2 cosine of x over 4. Okay, don't let this thing bother you. We're going to write it here. And then you look for something like this. And you'll notice that the formula that we're looking at is the first one in that group, namely, let me clean this up. Okay, namely, sine of u cosine of v is equal to 1/2 sine of u plus v plus sine of u minus v. So notice that there is your u, this is your u, and this is your v. So this is equal to 11 times 1/2 of sine of x over 2 plus x over 4 plus sine of x over 2 minus x over 4. If you look at the answer in the book, probably it looks like this. 11 over 2, 11 times 1/2 is 11 over 2. Be careful. This is not 11 and 1/2 because I asked this question in the class the other day, and some people said 11 over 2 means 11 and 1/2. That's not the same thing. 11 over 2, 5.5. That's what it is. Okay, so finish it. The answer in the book is going to be, if you take common denominator between these two, 3x over 4 plus sine of x over 4. If we check the answer in the book, it looks like that. Okay, I'm going to stop this thing because the remaining 4 problems, we're going to do it in the final video segment.